All right, welcome back to Soul Spark Tarot. I'm your host, Mr. Anu, and today we're gonna do what we need to do to see what's going on. We're gonna find some gratitude for ourselves. We're gonna find some appreciation, and we're gonna try to find some answers as to why we feel like we don't have the answers. So, with that being said, I'll see you in the reading. If you don't want to be here, you can skip ahead. But this is where I normally yap. So if you want to have some good channeled insights, maybe it applies to you, maybe it doesn't. Thank you anyway. And with that being said, yo, what's up? What's going on? So I got this song in the back. It's called Fragile by Tatsuro Yamashita. And I love this song in particular because it takes me back to a pretty good time in my life. I'm grateful for that time, even with all the stresses around, because I was already grateful for the stressors. So because I was so grateful for the bad, it's nice to have a memory of me appreciating something so good. The song is good. The reason when we listen to it is good. We used to listen to this during our silent reading time. And it was good because I've already talked about this on Soul Spark Radio podcast. That's a podcast in the form of a show, a radio show. And in there we talk all spirituality. Whether that's rapping it, singing it, covering it, spoken word, lectures, getting yelled at, whatever, it just comes out. And we talked about how taking this energy that made me feel so good when I was working as a teacher into places and spaces that didn't have that love. Places and spaces that just needed a little bit more nurturing, but we had no tools. And then I found that I felt good with this song, and then I can listen to this song all over the place. And just like when you sad and you listen to a song, when you're happy and feeling good listening to a song, you can feel those feelings too. So here I am feeling good about the times that I told myself I can use this song to feel good at a time where I did not. It feels good. It feels good to know that, though, for the simple fact that it shows me and it shows myself that I can. So there's no reason to be lost. There's no reason to have delusions. There's no reason to be confused. There's no reason. Once you know it, you know it. And that's it. And yesterday was a long time ago. So as soon as you realize something, you got to understand it's a part of you now. That realization is you. You can bring it up or you can suppress it, but now it's yours. And because of that, you can do what you want with it. That's the part that gives us the confusion. We act as if we don't have the power. We got to accept that we got more control. At least I do. I got to accept that I can give myself certain things because, you know what? I'm awesome. And that's the whole point of me in that school year, is to help those kids that year understand how awesome they truly was. Academically, I had some superstars still across my whole educational career. Still. Then I've had some pretty low kids in there too. And they overcame a lot of stress and a lot of obstacles. This is around COVID. And they were already going through their own bullshit as 7th graders. No, they were 8th graders. They were 8th graders. And you know what? They adopted every fucking thing that I said, no problem. All my practices, all my actions. And I was going through heavy self-care. heavy self-love. We meditated every day. We did Wim Hof every day. We worked out multiple times a day. We studied. We did projects. We did every fucking thing that you could. We made plays, YouTube videos, blogs. We did it all. We was just excited to be back, be around each other. And then on the occasion, we did the Zoom thing because we could. So, yeah, that's a good little intro, I feel like, because at the end of the day, that story still shows me that it's okay to live parts of you from the past. We always worry about clearing the past, healing from the past, but that shows that we're always focused on the hurt. That shows us that we're always focused on the pain. And that means we're always trying to run away from it. And I've learned this because before that time I was just talking about with that song, I keep going back to a time where that was like one of the most peaceful in my life, although there is so much bad going on. Like that was around the time where I just got betrayed by my family. I was getting betrayed by my homie, one of my best friends. Got betrayed already by my other best friend. And it was just like, then my third, one was a fire sign, one was an earth sign, one was an air sign. That's funny. And the third one, again, he started being weird and shit too, I don't know, everybody was moving in a dangerous way. So for me, it was hard to really cope with all of those things. And so doing all of the teaching, doing all of the Soul Spark Radio, this is around season 1 on Soul Spark Radio. So if you want to really understand what I'm talking about, you can go check out season 1 Soul Spark Radio podcast show. And you can go listen to that radio season. And I mean, again, what I'm trying to get to is with as much as we've all gone through in life, there is no way in hell that we should be like fearful and, really it's the fear, because the fear creates the illusion of delusion, of confusion, of manipulation, of I can't, of I shouldn't, all of those things, instead of just saying I did it. And that's so hard in some places and it's so easy in others. So what I've learned from all of these experiences is it's simple. We need to take the time. We need to take the time to not just learn how to rhyme. No, we got to take the time to vibrate with certain parts of us, opposed to just summing it up. But then once you do that, you got to sum it up. So it is a different dynamic. It is a different approach, even though it's the same tools. The timing is what is different. The start line is the finish line, but at different times is when they're different points. So we got to really value that a little bit more than what we see in this world. And that is what you will do when we find gratitude and appreciation of oneself. I feel grateful for myself, even though like I hate how I'm living now. Like, I hate it because there's points in time where I really, really loved it. And I wanted certain things. And I have the opportunity to give those things to myself. But along the pathway, I have been hurt and harmed and, had to overcome obstacles and challenges. So once I finally got to my destination, I forgot that I wanted to go to the hot springs kind of thing. And now I'm just sleeping in the bed or doing other shit. I forgot why I got here because of the in-between. So this is why I think a lot of us are stuck in our healing. We don't tend to see the aspects that we're resting on, and we don't tend to rest on them. We tend to perpetuate them on a continuous flow because once we get to our destination, we forgot why we rode on this boat. Why did we even come here? Most of the time we forget. And that's a lot of the emotional like triggers and changes that we can go through. A lot of that stuff simply just comes down to the fact that I just didn't remember. So let's see how we can remember our spark. You can go read that book so you can know how I read mine. Being humble is my way. And I'm humbled through soul inspiration because I know I can do it or not based upon what I've done in the past. And the not normally transforms into a not yet. So for me, that's my approach. That's why I talk about time so much. And when I there's parts of my life that I don't like, and there's parts of my life that I do. The only issue is that I haven't reconciled the two. Again, I haven't remembered my spark. I've been re-sparked. You go read that book, which is an understanding about why I'm in this position from an emotional point of view. And this position means any position in life. It is just a phrase you can use for any point in time. But the remember your spark, why should we be humble? What comes with that? Well, it's you allowing more gifts to come. That's what it means to be humble. If I'm a humble, homeless person, and I have a sign that says anything helps, just a look, getting a look at them and being told, nah, I ain't got it. Like if they were selling something and they approached your house, that at least gives them some kind of like human respect. And we forget that that's a gift. And this is the humble that I try to bring. It's little things like that that helps us understand how actually like blessed we are. And it's little things like that. Like I've seen little things that remind me like why I need to take care of my health. And it's been a struggle as of late because my environment is so stressful. But guess what? I'm really not that stressed. But guess what? I'm just not addressing the part of me that is stressed. So again, when we're looking at finding how to take care of these feelings of chaos, just like I introduced with the song Fragile, you can take happiness from other places in your life and you can put it in places that are in confusion. The happiness is what creates the light. So when you're thinking about deep dark things, it's cool. Keep that movie happening. But bring in a joke that just makes you feel good, a remembrance of a joke that just makes you so happy, and then just throw that shit in there. Throw that shit into that negative ass thought pattern, that movie that you're watching that just so negative and it repeats, keeps you up at night. Throw that joke in there and watch you go through the scariest part, and then somebody in the audience fucking crack a joke. And now the whole goddamn movie theater is laughing during the scariest part of the fucking movie. That creates conflict. That is the stressor that you want to enact. That is you fighting back. That's you stepping up and saying, bam, I am the controller of my own energy. So even if I'm thinking this thought and I know this is the specific part that's going to trigger me, what is going to trigger doesn't matter. Here's the sun. Boom. I'm laughing and that feels so good. I don't even think about it. It just happens. It's so funny. I'm dying from my laughter. I can't breathe. Nothing is happening but laugh. So nothing else matters. So the sun comes in, or that joy, that happiness, it comes in and it just shines its light. That's it. All you did was just put a light in there. And now some of those energies that don't like the light, I'm a vampire, I'm dead, oh no, boom, they vanish. Others, they run away and flee. Oh no, the sun. Others be like, I can handle it, and then they die slowly. And then there's parts of you that just completely forget. You just completely eradicate certain areas. Vaporize things to where nobody even knew it was there. Just something happened. There are ways that the body can and the mind can work together to where you can combat the energies that you have inside of you. There are ways that the mind and the body can work together so that you can combat those energies inside of you. You can do it, but you got to know how. And you got to have courage to take the step. You can't be in a position to where you're giving without knowing what you're giving to. You got to know which blooms that are going to bloom because you understand what was planted. You got to know which seeds that you are going around and sleeping on, building upon, resting on. This will always be here. It'll actually be here more the more you let things go. So let me give a better example. Let me finish shuffling these cards, and then I'm going to end this because I think this is getting a little long, so you can listen to this yap if you need that. But I'll see you on the next one, on the next reading, for a straight up message. Yeah. So I'm going to, let's pull the card, and I'm going to tell my story. We'll see if the cards in the story align. So don't show us the card. Just pull the card. I don't know if y'all saw that card. I saw the card. I was showed the card. Okay, so here's my story. My story about the situation that I'm talking about is simple. One of the things that the reason why I say I hate my situation right now is because I'm so grateful for what I have, but I know I should have more, and I've allowed myself to not have more because of fears of certain things that has not happened, that has been placed in me to make happen, that I have not completely cleared off. And because I haven't eradicated these aspects, they permeate in life again over and over. And it's a fear that's true, but I haven't gotten down to the cause of these two fears. Well, one of the fears that I know for sure, one of them is the fear of looking at my finances. There's a point in time, that time during that song that was first introduced to me, or season 1 on radio, or Soul Smoke Radio, that part of me is the peaceful part. But during that time, there was first time I got back on my feet, got my own apartment. I moved there, and it happened within like 3 months. It's crazy. I busted my ass. Grateful for my best friend at that time. I just crashed on his floor. And I worked 2 jobs, one overnight, one in the day, right down the street from each other. I had to walk to both of them. I literally would come home, sleep, wake up, go to work, then come home. Maybe I'll smoke or something, clean up. Maybe we'll play the game, watch some Dragon Ball Z or some shit, and then I'll sleep, back to work. But again, he didn't ask for nothing. He was like, bro, we've lived together before. I ain't tripping. You're like one of the only people I can ever live with. So again, I was easy. I cleaned up. I didn't eat his food. We worked out. So I was doing everything that I possibly could. And then the girls started coming around again, and I was like, damn, getting distracted. But then I was still focused trying to build what I have right now, which is Soul Inspiration. I've been trying to build that since then. So then I get my job, my new job, started substitute teaching at the time instead of working the 2 jobs overnight and shit. And once I did that, I was really paying attention to things. Season 1 is all about helping myself see multiple parts of myself. So like, no matter what I was doing, I was writing it down and I was putting it on my wall. So like, anytime you would go in my house, my apartment, like my whole wall was like full of notes and shit, or like things to trigger certain memories. And then I'm documenting these things. Then the fucked up shit happened with my family. And then I started to pull those things down and back. But then I started to express them differently. So that's where the Respark, Yo Spark comes in. I had changed how I was just putting shit on my wall until now I was putting creative digital designs on my wall, aka my first book, Yo Spark, Soul Inspiration. And then I went ahead and I started to take those things down and express them verbally, which is Respark, Yo Spark, Soul Inspiration Experience. That's the book that demonstrates that, but it's a studio book. That means I spoke this shit first. And then I listened to it, and then I documented it like a transcript, and that is what that book is. It is me talking to myself like a verbal diary during that time frame of me overcoming or being introduced to the betrayals. Because it was such a close part to my heart, it was my foundation, it was my roots. These were my bestest friends. These were my closest family members. This was my mom, my dad, my stepdad, my brother, like my other brother. Like, these were so close people that, like, all the deepest roots of me were like demolished and tainted and poisoned. And so, because there's certain parts of me that's still inside of me, again, that's the idea of healing. It's only in there because I'm afraid to address them again. I've already cut down these weeds, and they're coming back because I'm afraid to go cut them down again. Damn, the grass got fucking tall. There might be snakes and shit in there. I'm scared to go out and cut it. But it's only getting bigger and bigger and longer and longer. So you have to take the chance to attack. Have the courage to stand up for something that you've already cut down the weeds. I've already cut down the weeds. And then I've actually done that multiple times since that time. But when I was doing those things of keeping myself peaceful by addressing the things that were scary, I was at peace even with what I had. So I was able to be a teacher for a little bit longer, for a couple of years longer, because, again, I didn't have any problem with what I was doing because I was peaceful. I was addressing all of my fears. And then I slowly stopped getting into that. And then I wasn't drinking or smoking or doing anything. I was just super clean, vegan, healthy ass nigga. And it was crazy because I remembered the time where I took a drink again. And boom, I've been drinking for like the last 2 years. And it's crazy, like just that one moment. And it was because I opened the doors and because I felt better, I accepted that thing back into my life like it was no problem. And it wasn't a problem because I didn't even leave it with problems. I was grateful for even having that in there to connect with the people I did and have the experiences that I had. It just came down to the simple point that they were illusions. That's what this is all about. The illusions behind all of the fears, the chaos in and of itself is just things presenting themselves, and these are fears or not. But the not comes from them growing from being a fear, meaning you already addressed the issue. So, like, if you're in any confusion, chaos, or delusion, it's because you have a fear attached to something that you know or don't know. It's not fearful, it's just something that you are reluctant to do. Because fear is real in and of itself as what it is. Sometimes people just don't want to fucking do it. That is the reluctancy, and that's what I really want you to understand when I said the word fear. So I'm not going to say the word fear anymore. That is you changing. That is you addressing the main problem. Because you say you have fear, because you say you have trauma, because you say you are healing, because you are determining those things, you're creating those things. So the first part is to rebrand and rename it. You have to readjust. You have to take that movie that has the scariest scene in there and the part that has you quaking in your boots and you throw a motherfucking joke grenade in there and now everybody laughing. The whole scenery is supposed to be scary, but nope, now it's funny. And the most worst thing in the world that you can ever think of now becomes the funniest shit you ever seen in your life. If you like Harry Potter, that's like you and Harry Potter and, looking at, I think a boggart, the things in that be locked in chests and closets and they pop out as your biggest fears, and you gotta expel it with your Patronus charm. Hopefully I got that right for my Harry Potter folks. But yeah, using your Patronus is that joy and that love. They use love in the happiest chorus memory that just makes you feel good. I'm just saying use a funny ass memory like a joke. But the premise is the same. It clears up the confusion. And it's the fun that you inject. This is what people actually mean when they say follow your heart. People's hearts want bad things too. Niggas love drugs. People love alcohol. People love shopping, spending money. The heart isn't always the way to go. That's why it's a combo. It's a team. It's a team. And it's two teams. It's a tag team. Because if you're a tag team, it's either you first, then me, or me first, then you. It's a team. We got to decide something new. It's called order. The chaos comes from the decisions made, but the decision made comes from working together. Once you can work together with yourself, that part of you that can design those beautiful memories of the past that still give you anxiety, those things that be so detailed to where it makes you feel like you're there again, that is the part of you. That is the part of you that is needed to create the life that you want to see in yourself. But if you're afraid to be in there during that deathly dark creation, if you're afraid to be in the trenches of your own energies, then you will never be able to throw that joke grenade. So you gotta send in your special forces. You gotta be able to go in there and say, hey, I'm here to save the day. Follow me. Be your own hero. Well, this is what it means. Go in there to those thoughts and just be a rogue. Be that rebel that goes in there into your brain and says, joke time. That's the easiest way to quell the darkness from within, to extinguish those flames of hell. You do that by going in there and you extinguish. But these things must be defeated in different ways. This is where hunting comes in. It's beautiful that people can understand how to hunt animals and know the right way to do it over time and decades and centuries of cultures. All people have hunted. Whether that's for roots and berries, it's the same approach. You're searching, you're looking, you're trying to find something for a change. I don't have it, now I have it. I'm confused, now I'm not. The approach that you must take for yourself comes in the same form as everyone else. You must approach it with courage. You must approach it with courage. You must live life courageously, and that means that you must have the courage to do all things. You must have the consciousness that you are afraid, and then you must throw the joke bomb into that fear and make yourself rise up as the courageous being that we know you are. That is the heart that we follow. That is the heart that leads us to love, because we're courageous enough to find it. We're courageous enough to follow that line of thread, that thin gold red line, that line that connects us across galaxies, that line through time. Let us see ourselves. Let us be the way. Let us show others the way to be. And let us start it with ourselves. So we'll dive in deep. That turned into like a little sermon. But either way it go, I hope you guys do great and be great. Peace.